This is going to keep track of all the things that we are doing, our referrals, our one-to-ones, our CEUs, visitors, and thank you for closed business. And that is the business that someone's maybe brought you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how we're going to use this. This is something that in BNI as a chapter, you do have at your disposal, and you are expected to enter your stats on a weekly basis so that people see what's happening and you can track. Any good business tracks their stats, right? You know where your referrals are coming from. You know where you're making your money from. You know who you've met with and how things are working. Well, we've got a system just to make it easy to do so. This one I've just set up. Now, this isn't the way BNI Connect works as far as how it looks and operates, but this does the idea. So let's use Christine's, for instance. I'm going to jump in. So this is what's going to happen when you, everyone's going to have access to only their sheet, okay? You cannot get in there and do anything to anybody else's sheet, which is good. And it's just simply going to be able to go to, let's enter week to week what we've done. So I'm going to ask you to go into your previous stuff. And if you've got anything, referrals that you can quantify, if you will, yourself. Now, in Connect, you would enter stuff and you actually had the ability to print out slips. That person you gave the referral to has the ability to go and refer to that referral and give you updates as far as whether it's what's happened with it, such as the one I got from the printer earlier during the meeting. It literally said, there's an update to a referral you gave. And I went, okay, what's that? And I think it's already gone here. But I look at that and say, oh, okay, look, that means that, oh, Emma says she got that business. Cool. And I'm able to do some follow-up. Say she didn't get the business. One good thing would be, if that was a bad referral, for her to get a hold of me and say, thank you for the referral, but here's where that didn't quite work. And we can build a better relationship that way, so I can help her more to get her proper referrals. That's why the tracking is important on that too. So here, I want you guys to go in there and say, okay, let's go do our past referrals. How many referrals? I'm just going to enter, let's say 5. Okay. One-to-ones, Christine's been meeting with everybody. I'm going to put 12 in that one. CEUs, those are chapter education units. Those aren't necessarily going to be ones you guys are doing at this point, but I wanted to put it in there. What a chapter education unit is doing an hour's worth of growth that is stuff through either the BNI Business Builder, so our BNI University stuff, attending events that are sponsored by, where you are learning more and growing more business-wise. It's showing that you're learning more and growing is what it comes down to. Yes, it is kind of geared around BNI things, only because there will be people that maybe take a course on let's just pick something absolutely basket weaving, and they say, hey, I took this course. Yeah, it's not really kind of along the business side that we're talking about, especially if it's not a business course toward what they do, right? So that kind of thing, that's the only reason it's set that way. But anything is an hour's worth of time, that's where you put that in. Visitors, you bring a visitor, add that you've brought a visitor in, and have that in there. So then, thank you for closed business. I've closed, I'm just going to put, 1,500 for the sake of putting it in there. Bang, there you go. And what will happen then is it will automatically update here. So we will all be able to go and see what our totals are, what we have been doing as a group. And that has got some power to it, because all of a sudden you see, hold on, here's the value that we're bringing here. Here's where we're actually, here's where the what's the word here? The hitting the pavement, what is it?
The rubber hits the road.
Rubber hits the road. Thank you. Why am I struggling with that one? I got pictures of the tires in my head. I'm like, why am I not getting this? I don't believe this. Thank you. I'm going to blame coffee number 1 only. All right, but that's the whole thing. And then as we go into each person, so I'm just going to add, one of the Corinne's here. I'm going to just go, okay, let's add one of the Jesse's and say, this doesn't have, we round it off too, by the way. I'm just going to give Karen a really big one for fun. And as we go in there and we see this, and this will total all the way through so we can see everything, right? So that's your basics. The idea is the same though. We're always able to track and see where we stand as a chapter, but individually too. Ultimately, as you go in, you're going to be able to see some of these totals right at the very top, as you see, and the more you put in, it will total all the way through. And you see there's your totals at the top. And again, this will total all the way through too. So yeah, that was the idea, is to get something so we can track what we're doing. So get me those email addresses. I will set that up. Now, here's where I'm going to ask, and this is probably where we do a quick walkthrough. And that is, do we all understand how to set up a Google account? And no is a fair answer. Unmute and say, I don't know. If you don't know, it's okay.
So you just want us to actually not, because I'm noticing we're sending our business emails, but you don't want those. You want us to set up a Google one specifically for
glad
this.
you
Is
asked
that
that.
what you're
In
saying?
fact, I'm glad you asked that the way you asked it. Yes and no. So perfect. Here's what we're
Okay.
going to do. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, okay, so Google account. Just type that in. Okay, Google account. Let's just do that. We're going to create an account here at the top. And we are going to, right here, it says use my current email address instead. That's the big one. And that's where I want you to use the business email that you will be using when you want people to find and get a hold of you on the business level. The reason I say that is, so in BNI Connect, there is you fill out your bio, you do all this sort of stuff, right? And there's a button that you click that says, yes, share my information online. So when people do a search on our website for someone, and I'm just looking, okay, so I'm looking for a life coach. I type in life or life coach, and they do that search, then your name will come up as one of the people in our region that does this. If you click that, that's available. So the email that they then would contact you by, that's the one that I want. So you can set up. So like I said, have 5 or 6 different Google accounts. And it depends which email address I've used and how they're connected. So this is where it gets a little convoluted. I will then set up permissions for your tab here based on that email. So if you happen to be logged into one of your other Google accounts and you go to do something, you won't be able to do anything because you're not the person that has permission via that account, if that makes sense. So up in the top right of my screen here, you're going to see it's got a little picture here. That's my Gregor Tainment Gmail account. I told you I have a lot of different profiles. Look at all these. These are the different profiles I can then use to log in. So I've got my generic BNI one. I have the BNI admin one. I have my Greg T at bnisalberta.ca. I got my image stop one. So I've got several here. So I can be logged into different accounts. I can access maybe all these pages, but some have permissions that I can do things, some don't. That's my internal awareness here. That's just to be understanding how that is. We, on a daily basis, almost, or I'll say weekly, get emails from members going, I don't have access to this anymore. Are you logged into the right account? Oh, right. Okay. And then they're okay. So that kind of thing happens. But it is done because of security and safety so that nobody can come in and make all the changes and do the things that we don't want them to do. That's all. Right. And some things, to be real, you don't have access, period, unless you are connected to. So what I will do, in fact, let's just do this right now because I'm seeing things happen and I'll see what's going to happen. So you can't see my screen right now, and that's okay. I'm going to go into, see, Karen, yours is first. So let's do this. I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to simply go into Karen's. And I'm going to say, okay, we're going to protect the sheet. We're going to say, oops, Karen's access. We're going to set permissions. Now, right now we have Alberta South, myself as the image doc. So I want to make sure that no matter who I logged in, I could have access. We have our regional team, Alberta South period. So any of our regional directors would be able to access this sheet. And embedded marketing, that is Chris. And I'm going to add Karen's right here. So get rid of the mail to part and say done. So now when I send you the link, you're gonna have access to this and be able to do whatever you like, but only this tab. You can't do anything to any other tabs. So everybody's gonna be able to see the tabs, just so you guys understand that visually it'll be there. And you'll also be able to go to the chapter stats to get this. Now you notice I have all these different things secured too. Some of it was to lock the top sections so that even if you have access to your sheet, you cannot change any of the coding back in the back end that does your calc. It's just a sum. That's all it is. But you can't change that. That's the only things that are different there. Any questions? Does that work for you guys? Okay, I'm going to make sure you have that and make sure everybody's set up this week. So I will send a message through the group to say, here you go, here it's all set. And then you can start accessing this and entering your stuff. So what I asked to start with is go through the back things in this week and put in your stats so we can start seeing some big development happening here. And this is part of the accountability. We can actually see our numbers.